Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be following up on our last video on Wayne Grudem. Wayne Grudem recently called on Donald Trump to drop out of the race. Wayne Grudem is one of the most respected evangelical academics. I would classify him as an academic elite, but he is not an elitist. He's not a liberal. He even came out against John Piper's trash article defending Joe Biden voters in 2020. So this is who Wayne Grudem is. He's written a systematic theology that many people use as textbooks in seminaries. So there's a little background on who he is. He is now endorsing Ron DeSantis, and that's the follow-up that we're going to talk about in today's video. But first, I want to let you know, Evangelical Dark Web is a news gathering and commentary ministry. We support the church by giving the church and equipping it with information on spiritual warfare. You can support our mission over at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. That's linked in the description below. But the least you can do is like this video, subscribe to the channel or podcast if you are new. So let's dive right on into Wayne Grudem's latest article on evangelicals and endorsing Ron DeSantis. So he has a bunch of reasons. He has 10 reasons why he's endorsing Ron DeSantis. The first one is that he's a veteran. This just has to do with military experience, specifically naval experience, in a time where America's Navy is a little bit at a disadvantage against China. That's basically reason number one. Number two, he's a lawyer, which I think is kind of a weak sauce reason in my opinion. Number three, he's a former congressman. This has to do with DeSantis knowing how Congress works and being able to work with them. Now, his point could have been made stronger by the fact that DeSantis has a reliable track record as an executive of moving Congress or moving a legislature to act. He's done that as governor of Florida. This is an argument that Wayne Grudem doesn't make in this point. It's more about relationships and knowing the inside outs of baseball and not being politically naive, as some might accuse Trump of being politically naive. Number four, he beat his last Democrat opponent by a huge margin. So this has to do with Ron DeSantis doing the red wave in Florida, the red wave that happened in Florida and not much else. And that is certainly a testament to why Ron DeSantis is a strong candidate. Number five, exceptionally intelligent. This has to do with his academic resume that includes Yale University and Harvard Law School. I know a lot of people might be saying those are liberal institutions, and they're not wrong about that. However, here's the thing. Elites aren't bad. It's just the elites that we have are bad. But the concept of having an elite class is not bad. This is what our founding fathers believed in, actually. They created an aristocratic republic. It was supposed to be aristocratic. If you look at who the founding fathers were, they were pretty much aristocrats. George Washington was major gentry, as far as his class in the British society would have been. Not a lord, but gentry, major gentry, which is pretty high up. So this, to me, what he's saying here is that DeSantis is academically elite, and he's an intelligent person, and yeah, good, competent, intelligent people should be rewarded. That's meritocracy and how it should work. Now, number six is way out of left field, and I mean that literally. He was a successful collegiate athlete, and this has to do with DeSantis being a baseball player with a .336 batting average, which is pretty good, by the way. So he's a star on the team. Number seven, he has already defeated Gavin Newsom in a debate. In the last video, we talked about Wayne Grudem thinking that Joe Biden, for some reason, is not going to be the nominee. I think that's, media narrative. That's not going to happen. The Democrats don't respond to public opinion. This has been pretty well established for over 10 years that they don't respond to public opinion. Last Democrat who did was Bill Clinton. So why would they jettison Joe Biden when he has a hood pass? Not happening. But that's why reason seven's in there. Number eight, he doesn't carry all the baggage that comes with Trump. We covered much of these reasons in the last video and why he thinks Donald Trump should drop out. So we kind of covered this. It's a rehash of that article. And I believe he had 7 points, 7 reasons, and it's a rehash of the 7 reasons. Number 9, DeSantis, is not being promoted as much as Haley or Trump by the liberal mainstream media. So what he's saying is that DeSantis is the anti-establishment candidate that they do not want, because if you were truly a threat to the system, you get memory hold by the system. You see that. And I'm not specifically talking about DeSantis here. It's just, that's what happens if you're a threat. They pretend you don't exist. Rather than confront you all the time. Obviously, Nikki Haley is a Democrat, basically. She's left-wing. And number 10 is he will pardon former President Donald Trump. Now, keep in mind, these are his 10 reasons. They're not going to be 10 reasons I would come up with. But the article is titled 10 Reasons Why I'm Not Supporting Ron DeSantis and Why I'm Supporting Ron DeSantis Instead of Nikki Haley or Donald Trump. Now, Nikki Haley, to me, is an afterthought. She's not really in this article at all. And this is really about Donald Trump in the article. And I think Nikki Haley was added as an afterthought by the request of an editor. That's my opinion. I don't have any verification on that, but that's how this reads in conjunction with the title. So I got to make an announcement myself. I do support Ron DeSantis for president, and here are my 3 reasons why. Like a good Baptist, a 3-point sermon. Not really a sermon, but here we go. Number 1, immigration. And the reason why I'm doing this, by the way. So for those who follow me closely, you know I support DeSantis. If you listen to the live streams, you follow me on social media, you know where I'm already at. So I'm just doing this to be transparent with the people who don't know. I've been pretty open about it otherwise. So I want to make it clear, this represents my personal opinion. No one else at Evangelical Dark Web is being represented. We have a little bit of a team going on at Evangelical Dark Web, but no one else is being represented in this opinion other than me, which I get it. I'm the founder. I'm the person in charge, but nonetheless, I'm not going to be mobilizing Evangelical Dark Web to, rally for DeSantis. That's not the purpose of this ministry. So, there is no courage in waiting to endorse. I also want to say that. If I wait until March to endorse, there's no courage in that. If I wait a week from now, there's no courage to in endorsing. The time to endorse is before the voting starts. So I am doing that before the voting starts. So number 1 reason why I'm doing it out of 3, immigration. Immigration is the most important issue facing the federal government in America. President Donald Trump supported amnesty in a concession to get a wall. This was earlier in the Trump administration, for those of you who remember. As a congressman, Ron DeSantis opposed Donald Trump's amnesty. Neither so-called dreamers nor anchor babies are U.S. citizens, nor should any citizenship or residency be extended. Moreover, Donald Trump failed to reverse the trend of the invasion at the southern border. The border was not militarized. I am very Caesarian when it comes to militarizing the border and what to do about invaders. He did not get the wall built. Both of these were achievable objectives while he was president. In contrast, Ron DeSantis has a track record of getting it done, and his positions on immigration are far more right-wing than that of Donald Trump. So, I want to advance right-wing politics in America, and Ron DeSantis does that more than Trump. Number 2 issue is competency. Much of the online talk is about how diversity, equity, and inclusion are creating a competency crisis that will actually and eventually make air travel unsafe. That has to do with all the boomer pilots retiring. And who's going to replace them? It's the diversity hires. That sounds pretty dangerous. Yet under the Trump administration, there's a clear competency crisis in his staffing decisions. Nothing was more emblematic of this than when COVID arose and Trump handed the country over to Anthony Fauci, Debbie Birx, and Francis Collins. Under Trump's administration, gain-of-function research somehow became legal again, and Trump allowed his inmates to run his asylum. Trump locked the country down, and he's taken credit for this on multiple occasions. He bragged about it. He attacked those who opened their states or refused to lock down. He gave Anthony Fauci a medal on his last day in office. He signed the CARES Act, which destroyed the economy and has hurt my family financially, economically, and many of yours as well. The CARES Act wrecked the economy. I've maybe gotten $6,300 in stimmies. I don't count. I can't remember the exact number. I've maybe gotten $6,300 in stimmies, but inflation has taken all that away. As a Christian, I am to forgive Trump for his sin against me, but I will not forget, and I believe, a Nuremberg 2.0 in which Trump should be held accountable as well. Donald Trump allowed his Secretary of Labor to sue him and didn't fire him for insubordination on the citizenship question on the census. So literally, Trump allowed his own cabinet member to sue his administration and lost. Now, this is a bad decision by the Supreme Court. You got to thank John Roberts for believing that the administrative state has the ability to, violate a direct order from the president. That's a bad decision on the Supreme Court. Shouldn't have came to that because he should have been fired for that. In contrast, Ron DeSantis is the most competent Republican executive I've seen in my lifetime. His staffing decisions are excellent, and the people in his administration do not undermine him. They instead fall in line. Number 3 reason is terraforming. Donald Trump might have exacerbated an ongoing political realignment, but the Republican Party nationally is still in a precarious position it was in 2016. Indeed, the Republican nominee can win Florida and Ohio and still lose the Electoral College. The prospect of winning 270 Electoral College votes is as daunting now as in 2016. Donald Trump failed to move the needle in the Republican Party's favor in 8 years of being the standard bearer. Republicans suffered losses in every election since Trump won in 2016. Trump has backed the failed leadership of the Republican Party, including Ronna McDaniel and Kevin McCarthy. He endorsed almost every major liberal in the Republican Party. And he failed to provide adequate support in 2022 for the candidates he did endorse. Trump didn't do enough to help out his own candidates. That's a bad thing. Even now, I do not see a viable path for Trump to get to 270. This isn't about electability. Electability is merely about winning the next election. This is about terraforming American politics so that the Democrats cannot get elected. Ronald Reagan did this. Donald Trump did not. Ron DeSantis did this in Florida, where the most right-wing governance led to a massive re-election and a massive advantage for the Republican Party moving forward. We need that nationwide. Trump underperforms with white voters. DeSantis does not. Trump underperforms with independents. DeSantis does not. Now is the time to get white people to lead the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party is fundamentally anti-white. DeSantis is much more capable of doing that than Trump. Conservative Inc. is under the impression, these are my final thoughts, that we terraform Americans by exposing the corrupt system. If we only expose how corrupt the deep state is, all of America will rally behind Trump. All of America will rally behind a Republican. That's not how it works. This is a lie. We terraform Americans by winning and imposing our values on them. Or else we lose and have their values imposed on us. It's a zero-sum game. You have to legislate morality, because all legislation is someone's morality. And we win by legislating our morality. DeSantis is the best option to make America more right-wing. And that's not to say I don't have any disagreements with DeSantis. He is too Zionist for my liking. But that's a wash in this Republican field. Trying to think. He hasn't done enough on gun control in Florida. I'd like to see him do more on that. But again, Donald Trump was pro-gun control as president. He did a bump stock ban, so he doesn't win on this issue. So even my policy disagreements or the things that I'm a little bit underwhelmed by with DeSantis, Trump is still worse on those exact issues. So I support Ron DeSantis. I just want to make it clear. I hope you listen to my reasons before unsubscribing if you're, mad at me or butthurt or whatever. But we can have an adult conversation about this. We can still be friends. But there's no courage in waiting. So that's all I got to say. My name's Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this content, subscribe if you are new. Otherwise, have a blessed day. We will catch you on the next one.